Hello, 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 hello. Hi, thank you for stopping by to have a chat with Julie. Well, today's topic is about fibroid, and really I want to talk about my experience with fibroids. I know that there are some videos out there about fibroids, and there aren't enough, I feel, or there aren't that many with enough information, I think, to help a lot of women. And because of what I've been through with it, I've had some not so good days, some really not so good days I had. And I remember the worst was one day I told myself, no, this is probably like the worst pain on the planet. But anyway, we'll get to that. I was first diagnosed with fibroids in 2010. Yeah, so that's some time ago. That would be, as a matter of fact, I think this month would make actually 6 years since I've been diagnosed with fibroids. At first I was really confused. I was thinking to myself, what could I have been doing wrong? Why would I be diagnosed with fibroids? But the signs were there earlier, and I think what I had done was I had ignored the signs. I really ignored the signs because a lot of things was happening in my life before that, and I was supposed to the first time when I really noticed that there was a change in my abdomen, that I actually felt something. I was in the process of moving at that time, and a lot of things was happening, and I just, in my mind, I was thinking, because when I was thinking, what is this? And I did a Google search, and fibroids was the likely thing according to my search, and stupidly I ignored it. I really did. Not totally ignored for the sake of just ignoring, but I got caught up in other things, and that's the unfortunate thing sometimes. We think that everything else is more important than us, and everything else is more important than our health, and we get caught up in other things. But I remember one Sunday, I remember distinctly that it was a Sunday. I mean, I started feeling some pain, seriously, in my lower abdomen. It was the worst pain of my life, I tell you. I found myself to a doctor so fast. I found myself to the doctor's office so fast. And that's when he checked me out and stuff, he suspected that it was fibroids. But as with these things, to be sure, I had to do an ultrasound. So I had to go do an ultrasound. I can't remember the correct name for it at this point, but it's an ultrasound, but it has something else attached to it. So I did that, yes, and after I did that, it was found that, well, while it was being done, I was talking to the doctor and so forth. So I had multiple fibroids. I think I had about five fibroids in my uterus of various sizes, and I was shocked. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I was shocked, and I was like, I don't know, I felt so down. I felt so down because I was thinking to myself, how did I get there? How did I get myself to the position where I had fibroid? none of my sisters had fibroids, and I have 6 sisters. So then I was thinking, you know, what could I have, you know, been doing wrong? And I started doing my research, and that's when I started doing more and more research, and I realized that, you know what, people keep telling, they were basically saying they don't know what the true cause of the fibroids were, etc., etc. That was, you know, the medical community. They weren't sure. It could be like a number of things, but it affects mostly African American women or black women worldwide. Well, the focus was on African American, but black women mostly were affected, because I'm from the Caribbean. I'm Jamaican, so that's who it affected most. So believe me, I was at a point where I was just not sure what to do. I started seeing a gynecologist because my doctor was a general practitioner. So of course I was put on to a gynecologist to further, you know, assist me further. Yeah, so the gynecologist that was supposed to assist me, from the moment I went to her, I was, to be honest, the day when I left her office, I ended up feeling worse, because she asked me if I wanted to have children. I said yes, and she said, then hysterectomy is not an option. And I'm thinking to myself, it was never an option, because there's no way I'm going to take out my womb, sorry. And then she basically gave me 2 other surgery options. One was, you know, regular surgery where they just open and take out the fibroids, and one was less invasive. They just do something like a slit, and they put something in, and they would inject the fibroids, and they would eventually die. Well, I did not want any of these options. Not only were they expensive, especially the non-invasive one, which I would have preferred. Not only were they expensive, the fact is I just did not want surgery. And at the end of it, I was not given any advice or anything. I did not know what exactly was the true cause of the fibroid. And that's the thing with a lot of women. And I am saying this because I see so many wrong information being put out, right? Even people who have been through it, you know, they're still not sure. Fibroids is not about genetics. Fibroids is largely about your diet. That is what it is. That is the main thing that is responsible for the fibroids. Right? It's not genetics, not because your mom passed it down or your grandmother had it. That's not the reason why you had fibroids. And I just want women to understand this, because I think when people understand this, they will realize that they can take control of the situation and help themselves. Because I went through a lot of trial and errors. Believe me, trial and errors I have been through, because I wanted to really and truly try. Because I was trying different things, because I wasn't sure what was the situation, what would work, what would not work, right? and different people will tell you different things. But at the end of it, my conclusion based on my experiences and the result that has manifested in my life is that diet is the main contributor to fibroid. So I don't want to make this a really long video, so I am of course going to do, because this video is basically about my experience with it, but this would not cover, I would not cover everything in this video. I couldn't. So I will have a few other videos, a couple others, maybe 2 or so, where I give you a little bit more detail into what I have done, to the point now where I did not do surgery, I don't have pains, I don't have to worry about bleeding out like I used to. I used to bleed like crazy. I used to go through pads really fast. You know, I used to be afraid to go to certain places when, you know, I had my period, when, you know, at stages during my fibroids, because I didn't know how much I would bleed. And sometimes, let me tell you, I was not going to deal with the embarrassment. So just know that you're not alone. Many women, many other women, many women are facing the same situation. Some might have it a little bit better than you in terms of the symptoms and how it's affecting them, and some actually have it way worse, you know. But know that there's help out there, and you can deal with this, you can defeat this, okay? So don't forget to check out my other videos, and thank you for stopping by, and ciao.